So, on today's episode, we're going to be going through the JSA paint sets, that's a new combination from the Army Painter. In here is 10 paints, one of which is unique, the rest are colour matches, but we'll go through that in a sec. And we're also going to paint and build the Keisotsu Paramedic miniature that comes with it, which is an exclusive to this box set. Hey, my name's James, and welcome to The Distant Vale. And here we are with another week with the Keisotsu Paramedic Infinity paint set. So the joy of this one is there's a limited edition miniature inside as well as 10 individual paints. Now with all these paints we're going to go through in a second. I believe the fog green style colour is the unique paint to this set, and the most of them are actually paint matches, but we'll go through one by one. Let's actually see what comes in the box. So as with all Infinity and Army Painter sets, nice little plastic case. Individual miniature. Now this did actually come on flashings, but I've taken it apart and actually put it together so you can see what the miniature looks like before we start painting. Now in the paint set, 10 paints as we said, always nice special Infinity style names, Infinity Universe names shall we say. Going through, first things first is the Keisotsu Grey. So I was wrong, it wasn't the fog. The Keisotsu Grey is actually the unique colour that comes in this set, so you can't get it in any other paint set. The Keisotsu fog is matching with the Evergreen fog, matte white, obviously, and it's the same with matte black. Matte black's matte black. Funny that, isn't it? So the other paints within the set after this all paint match as well. So Zensho skin, Kaitoyoshi skin, and Shuto skin. So the Shuto skin matches with Moonstone. The Keisotsu, however you pronounce it, matches with ruby skin, and the Kensho matches with opal skin. The two reds, the Oni red and the rising red, these two match with pure red and basilisk red. Now actually I must say, having used this paint set, these reds are some of the favourite ones I've used in a while. Tokai grey is a colour match to ash grey. And that leaves us with the 10 paints. And inside the set as well comes a step-by-step painting guide that we're going to go through in a second. Now, this is such a well-written painting guide. It's really cool. It takes you through every individual step. There's 9 and a bit steps, shall we say? No, it's actually just 9 steps, I'm kidding. And it takes you through step-by-step, how to mix the paints together, what volumes to use, what percentages, gives you picture examples of each step, and further guidance. And I think it's really cool. I'm surprised more paint sets aren't doing things like this. So this limited edition paramedic model for the JSA, I've just primed it in matte black, and we'll go through the first step together. So prime in black, white armor, 75-25 grey to matte black, and then 75-25 fog to matte black. So starting off with a grey, it's going to mix that 75-25 mix and start going through the armor panels of the model. It's been so long since I painted a metal model. Most of the stuff's been injection plastic, and it's actually been a really pleasant change. When we've blocked in all the panels, it's time to get the first highlight, and you'll see this with the instructions. We go step by step. So now we're going straight up to just Keisotsu Grey and just Kuramari fog. So we're going through, you know, the idea of like 70% highlight. So we're just layering up the armor panels, the green and grey armor panels. Say green and grey, it's really green and white. I think one of the really cool things with these Infinity, the Universe models, is just how much detail you get in such a small space. Now, these are significantly smaller. I mean, the models themselves are big, but they're packing significantly more detail into a smaller space than a lot of the GW models, and even to an extent some of the Star Wars Legion models, and they are just such a joy to paint. Having said that, started out this journey with a size 3 brush. Definitely ended up reducing size as we went on, but armor panels are starting to come on nicely. Hello, me again. Thank you so much for watching so far. Really appreciate it. Huge thank you to Keisotsu Paramedic for sending us the miniatures to paint and the box set to go through. If you wouldn't mind hitting like and subscribe, it makes a massive difference. And with you still with me, we move on to the second highlights. So now we're moving up. So instead of grey and black, we're going 50-50 grey and white and fog and Zensho skin. So these paints actually, like most Army Painter paints, are actually a pretty good consistency. Since they've moved to the Warpaint Fanatic range, they're not particularly gel-like. The only one I'm not actually keen on in this set is the black. Call me a bit of a snob, but I do really like using Vallejo black. So we're going to go through and highlight the armor panels significantly less this time, and we're starting the grey looking armor panels, we're starting to try and get them as close to white as we can, and you start actually seeing the definition, and as long as you're volumetric highlighting as you're going through, you can start to see the colour change, especially in the forearms, the chest plates and the greaves. Final highlights, so just using matte white on the white armour and a 2575 fog skin mix for the green armour panels. Now this really makes it pop, especially with the white armour panels. It actually makes it look such a cool model. I'm surprised that this is such a limited edition one. With the paramedics themselves, they have quite a special place within JSA in terms of the rule set of what they can achieve. And I'll just walk you through step 5 and then I might talk about them. Step 5, we're moving on to the remainder of the model. So the trousers, the equipment bags, and the red. So the red being the paramedic satchel that it's got. I think one of my favourite things with this is the fact that they've not gone through and just included, let's say 15 paints. They've got a couple of tones of brown, a couple of tones of red. They've actually gone through with the intention of you have got a certain colour palette, and here are the instructions that you can use to be able to mix colours yourself. It's so rare that paint companies have actually been really open to, when you're miniature painting, you can use white to lighten a colour, or you can use black. There's such a focus on having colour triads and actually using a full range of paints rather than trying to just adapt what you've got and using a limited number of colours. And I think it's really interesting as a painting exercise, especially for a beginner, to sit down and try this. Now that we've got that, again, similar to the steps with the armor panels, we're going to go through the detail highlights and finishing touches. Same as the steps up for the armor panels, we're essentially mixing more or less of a colour in until we get a brightened colour, highlighting certain parts as we go through. After we've done all of the armor panels, the trousers and all the ancillaries, we move on to the skin. Now, the skin's a 4-step stage using the lightest, the mid-tone skin colour, and then highlighting up, as well as then obviously doing the eyes, doing the hair. And it leaves you with a really cool model. Quite interesting how light the skin tone comes out using the method that they've used. It's really pale, like Asian Japanese skin. I mean, that's the aim. JSA is the Japanese Sectorial Army. It's what we're aiming to go for. And with that, it's time to have a look at the final miniature. Thank you so much for watching today, and hope to see you again.